caretakers of different, like there's this idea that somehow we never touched anything and it was pristine and all of that. But then you actually see nature doing what nature does. And, it's not always pretty, but it's meaningful and has a purpose. So I just wanted to make kind of a statement about that because that's what Molly made me think of that. Like, like they're doing their job in the ecosystem. So
Mhm.
eagles are the
Exactly.
top three overall. Yes, that's what somebody else was saying. But yeah, I just wanted to make that comment. But yes,
Yeah, let's get it back to Georgia because she was talking about
yes.
rock climbing, something I would like to know
Oh,
myself.
Oh,
Tell us a
interesting.
bit about it.
Yes.
Go
Talk about
ahead.
danger.
well, and if I could, yeah, but with what you were just saying is Haast's eagle also comes to mind, right? It's extinct now, but this is I think it was maybe the biggest eagle at one time, but it was alive when humans were. It was on like I think like in some like on New Zealand or something like that, and it's supposedly big enough that it could have eaten people.
Wow.
So
Really?
it's yeah, I just looked it
Wow.
up because it preyed on like the some of the flightless birds. So like the Maori apparently have legends about this like who lived with it, like attacking people potentially, and these eagles attacked moas, and I guess people are smaller than moas sometimes. So
Wow.
yeah, it's quite
Wow.
crazy.
Do you
But
know
I mean,
when
yeah, with the oh, go ahead.
no, when did it go extinct? Because I'm just curious.
That's
Do you know
curious.
that?
Yes.
Yeah, so I think it because it's thought from what I understand, I think it went extinct probably because of people and because, this is an eagle that was really big, but, was restricted to a relatively small geographic range that, even just like, relatively like people who are like living with the land in a much more conscientious way and still stuff like that can still sort of easily make an animal like that go extinct on accident if you're like eating their eggs or something like that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so it was kind of one of the early cases of species going extinct because of humans. Um, what extinction isn't because of us since we've been around? Well, that's a good
Right.
question.
Good
Good
question.
comment, Charles.
Yeah.
Yeah, the next great extinctions, humans. But yeah, I mean, with the rock climbing, it makes me a bit sad because, you would think that rock climbers are people who are out there using nature and sort of like connected with nature and stuff like that. So you think that that every rock climber, I would think, would be willing to share the cliffs with the eagles and the falcons part of the year. But it's not
Mm.
always the case. So
Wow.
yeah, that's all
Yeah.
I had to say about that.
And Georgia, tell us a bit about your rock climbing. I'm very curious.
Yes.
Come
So
on.
you actually go out and do rock climbing yourself and
Yes, yeah.
oh cool.
So we get to have lots of interesting wildlife encounters. So actually, the last time I was climbing, I think this was about a month ago, I went on a climbing trip to Arizona and we had a black hawk that was kind of flying by us. It was kind of flying up and down the valley as we were climbing and letting out its like call. It was, like a desert valley, but like there was a stream or something in the middle. And so there was like some trees and stuff. So that was really cool to see. And there was also a nesting peregrine that we didn't climb on the
Oh.
route that it was nesting on top of. And we climbed, we avoided the routes that were closed for the falcon and climbed, a little ways down the cliff from it, but it was still pretty upset at us and was kind of diving us a little bit and stuff like that. And
Oh.
so we were quite we were quite like, oh, maybe we didn't want to press on if it was going to make the falcon too upset, but also you don't want to, you want to stay concentrated on what you're doing when you're rock climbing.
I would
Right.
imagine that, yeah, having something with talons and a nice sharp beak that's screeching at you, flying towards you, is not exactly helping your focus.
Yeah, I would say,
Oh my
err
goodness.
on the side of giving these animals more clearance than you think
Give them
is
space.
necessary.
It's their home.
Exactly.
You're invading. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, oh my gosh. Well, I kind of do this at some point when I start seeing the progression of the art. So I'm going to do this. Let's just take a look at what Gerald. I keep saying Gerald, and I know his name is Anthony. You're just gonna have to change your title there, Anthony.
Michelle, we've worked on this for months now.
I know, right? But it's like I know. I'm just
We love you,
Wow, it's
Anthony.
beautiful.
So I'm gonna unmute you there because I had you muted. I had everyone kind of muted there. Let's just unmute some people here because there was some background. So Anthony, why did you pick this picture? Because it's so incredibly amazing. But look at this beautiful work he's got going on. What are you working in colored pencils or? Can you?
Is the mute stuck again?
I think the mute is stuck because I've like muted and unmuted and it fixed the looping of the audio, but now I can't hear him at all. I'm so sorry. I don't know what's going on there. Honestly, I'm just not Pablo. And so I don't know what's happening here. I think there might be something with certain phones.
It's a sticky mute button.
But I just want to just comment on, look at the shading he's got already and the expression. He works typically very fast. Anthony here is a comic artist. He does he has his own independent comic that he does, but he does a lot of gesture drawings and very quick renders of different poses and action in flight. So I was kind of thinking that's why he chose an action pose, so to speak. So I thought that was just really brilliant. So let's see here. And I think I'm going to pick
I was curious, real quick, Christian, I've been meaning to ask you, because in this picture, the hook on the eagle's beak is really prominently displayed. So Christian, do they like pierce the fish with that hook on their beak or?
Yeah, that's a great question, Georgia. I think they use both. You know what? I have to get I can answer that question. I have a slow motion video that actually shows exactly how this is happening. So give me a few minutes and I'll try and get it. Let me find it, okay? And it'll answer your question. Okay. So
yeah, we're just doing a little round robin here, so no worries. Somebody, Anthony, wants to know where Anthony lives. He lives in Texas. Kit Harvey, I believe, is asked that question. So I'm sorry, just go ahead if you want to type any kind of things you want to say in the comments, Anthony. Apologize that that's not happening for you, but this is just gorgeous. I mean, one thing I want to comment on the art side of this is you think a comic artist only does a certain kind of art, but they actually, like, again, he does a lot with gestures and anatomy and, really with a very few lines to capture the essence of their subject. And look at, he doesn't even have it fully fleshed out. And I'm already seeing what I see in the photograph he's using for reference. So this is just brilliant. This is amazing work. So thank you so much, Anthony. Let's see here. Dallas, Texas. So yeah, not sure why your audio isn't working, but we appreciate having you here. So let's see here. Brenda, I think I'm gonna pick on you next.
That's okay.
You don't look muted, so we'll be fine.
I've been just chilling, pretty quiet.
There we go. There we go.
Like Lindsay says, it's when an artist starts working, they kind of go off into a la land, and that's kind of where I am right now.
Oh no, that's a nice strong line. Well, I'm literally just fleshing out my. It's really hard for me to talk and draw at the same time, as you guys all know. But I'm liking what you have here, what you've got fleshed out. So.
Well, I'm going to add some color pencils to it. I just don't have them right here with me, but I'm just kind of getting some dark sketching in there, and then going to highlight it with some brown and some golds and things. So when it's finished, I'll post it.
Okay, so you're actually not going to use watercolor. You're going to use color pencil.
Not watercolor on this, Michelle. Sorry.
Wow. No, I'm just kidding. No, I think when I think of you as a watercolor artist. But of course, she's an art teacher. So like, hey, I'm gonna like throw that out like I did initially. Like, if you were to do a lesson, and let's say you said to your class, we're going to do the eagle today. Like, how would you approach that as a teacher in terms of maybe introducing the subject matter that you're drawing, or in an art sense? Like, how do you see this?
I have to correct you. I'm not an art teacher, Michelle.
Oh, I don't know why I thought that you said that you were an art teacher.
No.
You don't teach art? You teach me a lot. Oh, what happened to her audio? What is
Did she
happening?
freeze too?
I think there's something happening with the audio.
Oh,
She
no.
frozen. Not sure what's happening. We'll
Oh,
never know. She just corrected me. I really thought she was an art teacher. Am I like wrong about that? I think I am. I think she's talked about teaching, but maybe she doesn't teach art per se.
it's
It's just one of the many subjects. So we just dropped her out. Let's just all right, Lindsay, I guess you're it.
oh, I'm it.
You're it.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
We're just having a half stay. Oh my
Ma'am.
gosh. So you're not using your Ohuhus, are you? Your
No,
markers?
no. I'm using the Polychromos, the Faber-Castell color pencils. They are so nice to work with, and it's wonderful to practice blending with them. They get all the details and the colors, make them look all pretty when they come together. I am just loving this bird even more the more I study it and map it out. It's thanks, Kit. That's so sweet of you to say. Yeah, I'm really, we're starting to become best friends right now. I feel like this is building a friendship. I'm building a friendship with the eagle through my artwork
Oh,
and
that's a great way to
through
put
Dr.
it.
Sasse's photography. And so I know I can kind of like relate with him on his passion and like he almost feels like you probably feel like you have like a relationship with some of these birds the more you watch them and the more you get to know the family, if you will. Watching those birds grow up, as you were talking about, enjoying to watch the younger birds as they develop, and they probably have some toddler-esque tendencies and behaviors, fighting over their toys and food and whatnot. But because I think I remember seeing that there was some kind of eagle toy, like a dog toy almost, kind of chew toy that was in a nest
Oh my
somewhere.
gosh. Oh,
I
how
want to hear
cute.
more about that.
Right? Right? Yeah, let's just bring everybody back in. Sorry, Brenda is probably dropping out and coming back in to see what's happening there. I think
Yeah.
she'll be joining us, but yeah. What is where was this at that you saw that picture, or where was
Oh,
this at?
I deep dived on his Instagram, so I saw like
okay,
your
okay.
entire history. I went to the very end. I saw all the things. It was great.
How are we doing audio wise? Is everybody okay?
I can't hear.
I can't hear anyone except
I
you,
hear you
Lindsay.
and I hear me.
I know, right? And
It was a
not
teddy
really
bear. I thought it was like a stuffed eagle.
Yes, yes.
There he is.
Yeah.
There he is.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Sorry, I'm still looking for to answer George's question, but
Oh, okay.
I'm getting
Oh,
closer.
okay.
But I can quickly talk about that.
Yes.
Well, that's a bit funny because that's again an adventure I had with the captain of the fisherman boat, Jack Molan, who knows the Aleutian Islands so well. Without him, I would have never been able to
nice.
take the images I took because he just has such in-depth knowledge. But we had just as a we had this wonderful little eagle as a symbol in our car to inspire us, right? Where the whole day, as we went from one area to the next, trying to explore and photograph eagles on the beach or wherever, right? So one day, Jack says, "You know what? Let's try something. Let's try and put the toy eagle out there. Let's see what they do." So we did. And we did, and that's another video that's on my list. I should show it to you. And yes, lo and behold, the juvenile came and was very curious. Why is this little one so little? And so it started pecking at it, and it's interesting playing a bit with it. So that's where that photo came from. Yeah.
That's so cool.
So. But you're absolutely right. They do take them to the nest. There are there in White Rock and many other nests. There are a lot of stuffed sorry, I'm just gonna shut my phone off once. Sorry about this.
No worries. No worries.
I have to mute myself. Oh, I can't always do that. 1 second. I'm just gonna mute myself, and I'll be right back. So.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I like for some reason, like the wingspan is a photo image that I really was attracted to. And I think it's typical Native American art, to be honest with you. I think I picked it because it's typically artwork that I've seen with the big span that we recognize the eagle in that way. Because there's just you ever you're always out looking and sometimes you're like, oh, is that an eagle? Because if you're at a powwow or some kind of ceremony and you have an eagle sighting, for a lot of people that's like a sign of something good. And
Yeah.
so but the way to recognize that eagle that's far away is with the wingspan, because sometimes it's just a buzzard and you're not seeing like there's just, it's funny that when we're at a ceremony, we're at a gathering, and we see that a lot of elders especially will take it as like we sent our prayers out and now the prayers are coming back. But we just take it as a sign of humor when we go, oh, that's not an eagle, that's something else. Oops, misread that one. And so it's just kind of a joke and it's kind of funny. But like I think, like when I think of like again the wingspan out, it's just incredible to see something that beautiful. I moved to Cleveland. I'm right on Lake Erie, overlooking Lake Erie. Now, being from up north, eagles are a little bit more around, and I didn't expect to see eagles in Cleveland. Ever since I moved here, there's not only an eagle, there's two eagles. There's a younger one and an older one, and they've come so close to our balcony. It's just almost, I'm like, I almost don't believe it. But yeah,
Really?
definitely saw
That's
the
cool.
wingspan, definitely saw the white head. And to me, that's like, wow, it's a good sign I'm living in a good place. Because if you don't see an eagle, it's a sign, I would think, of maybe nature is hurting. It's not able to support, their life. So I think I grew up in the 70s where, like you said, it was we talked about the endangerment a little bit, but I think also there's been so much ecology and activism and environmentalism, to protect what we have, like with bees and other species, that people are now, the mindset has changed. People are thinking about cleaner water and protecting the water and all the other things that support wildlife.
Right.
So that symbiotic thing that you're talking about with the salmon fishing really hits home. Protecting the water is so important for so many species. But to see an eagle flying around where you live is a sign of like a good health in the land. That's just my thoughts on that. Why I picked this image. Did you happen to find that image that you're looking for?
Ooh, Michelle.
I'm almost there. I'm sorry I'm taking
Oh,
so
that's fine.
long
That's fine.
because,
Yes.
gosh, I never thought that this question, you get prepared.
Oh, yeah.
But
I know how you feel.
Michelle, I actually hear Anthony, so I want to hear from his own mouth his
Yes,
experience, since
yay.
we've been having so much trouble with his
Oh,
tech right
Anthony,
now.
it's your turn. It's your turn.
Okay.
Yes, yay. Your beautiful
Huh?
voice. So
All right.
glad to hear. Yay.
Okay. So my experience with Eagles is, kind of grew up in the '80s, kind of watching a lot of nature shows like Wild America. That's
Nice.
kind of how.
Oh, I
Yeah.
remember that.
Mutual of Omaha's Wild. Whatever. No, I'm thinking Mutual. They had Wild America. Was that on PBS? I'm trying to think what
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay.
The one with Marty Stauffer.
Yeah, that is Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. That's the one I was thinking.
Hmm.
That's cool.
Yeah, and so I always remember whenever I see kind of eagles, they'll always be either fishing from dive bombing the river for salmon, or kind of in the winter. And
Mm-hmm.
we got eagles here in Dallas, kind of like the last decade.
Oh,
I would
yeah.
see I would see them in the driving down the highway, and they just look like
Mm.
these huge giant shadows just kind of floating in the air.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, impressive. Yeah. And then you picked one, the picture you picked happens to be in the snow. That's interesting. Or like you can see the snowflakes. I mean, like on his beak, there's like a little bead of like
Yeah.
frost or
Yeah.
something, or snow built up.
Anthony,
on
what
them.
made you pick that picture?
Yeah, exactly.
What spoke to you?
I think I just kind of like it's kind of like the winter scene, and this kind of reminded me of those different documents about kind of the wildness, especially
God.
from
Sorry, guys. Something got clicked, and I don't know how that happened.
Did you break something again?
That was the. I didn't touch anything. I was literally not touching anything. Something
All
got
right.
clicked.
Carry on.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, poor Anthony. Oh, I did not do anything. Honestly, my hands were way away from it.
but it always reminds me of the whenever I do kind of the documentaries were kind of focused around the wintertime, just kind of the harshness, kind of the harshness of that time for animals in general.
Yeah. Survival. Interesting. Well, that's a beautiful piece that you're working on, and again, you picked colored pencils. Is that what you're working with there?
Yeah, I was working with markers.
Oh, those are markers.
He is doing markers. Nice.
Nice blends on that. That's just
Well,
gorgeous.
that's pretty.
It's very pretty.
Michelle, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yay! You're back. Your audio is back.
I had some technical difficulties.
I don't know what's happening, folks, but I'm not even pushing buttons, and literally something went off. So
I think we have all of the clowns crammed in the clown car, and so we're struggling to steer the ship.
Maybe it's all ghost. I don't know. The ghost.
Oh my gosh.
The Haps ghost now, but it looks like he found the photo. If anyone remembers him, but I think he's referring to Lorne Green had a wildlife show in Canada in the 80s. I do remember that he was the host of a show.
Yes.
Lorne Green, yeah.
I think Christian found the video, and we also Georgia had a question too.
Georgia, before she bombards me with the next question, let me first answer. If I get a chance to breathe. No, it's
this question first. So as a reminder, because it was so long ago, the question was about what that, why their beak is so hooked like that. I mean, lots of raptors have a hooked beak.
Yes.
But they've really got like a stabber there. And I was asking about, what's the purpose of that? And Christian has found the answer, the video answer.
Nice.
So that's a nice setup.
Okay, I just want to say, can you see the image of the eagle now?
Let's make you the takeover. Let's try that so that we can all see it.
Okay.
Thank you for the Creative Genius Award. Yes, that was Pa Cartwright, Lorne Green. When do you guys know when to walk away, not to overwork your drawing? We'll answer that question, Karen, in a bit.
Okay, 1 sec. I'm gonna. Okay. You should be able to see. This is a very unusual one where an eagle is actually feeding on a sand shark. Really a very rare footage.
Cool.
I think I'm the only one who has this type of footage.
Wow.
So that's taken from quite a distance, but you can see the. So what the eagles do is they go for the gills first. It's not the slow motion video I was looking for, but it's so unique it's something you see very rare, but you can see their behavior, and I think I have it on there. How they. So just to answer what they do with their beaks, you see how they use their beaks and their talons to really rip. So maybe that answers the question much better of how they interact. That's a juvenile, by the way, there. And you look how powerful.
Yeah, it's like
so big.
Look how powerful the tail.
It's like they bite and drag it, but that hook just stays in and tears it up.
Yeah, so that's quite incredible. So
that's amazing.
Cool.
Go back now. Let me just go back to the where are we? To this one here. Yeah. Go back there. Okay.
Wow. In terms of, I'm a chef, and there's certain kinds of, knives, and there's one that's good for like basically butchering and
can I show you another
skin off? That's what that reminds me of. It takes the skin off.
Yes.
Can I show you another very unique clip that is really quite something? Let me see. I just have so many screens open. I just have to see where I am there. Yes, yes. Okay, let me jump back to this screen. So what you're going to, let me just put it on silent for one moment so it doesn't. So this was very unique. This is a female hanging upside down in a tree. That's the eagle foot that you see. Oh, wait a minute. You can't see this at the moment. I'm sorry. I don't
Oh,
have
it's
it.
okay. It's okay.
Okay, here you go. So
Oh, there we go.
hanging upside down with a duck. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
That
Oh
is
wow.
absolutely, and
Oh.
it was, she was chased by other eagles, and this is what because eagles are scavengers, right? So she's
Mhm.
completely exhausted, hanging on one foot.
Yeah.
I'll just show it from the beginning again.
That's incredible.
So there you go. There's the eagle foot, hanging upside down on a tree, hiding from other eagles. It's just
And
well,
just having a moment of pause, trying to
Yes.
like catch their breath, and look at that.
yes.
How strong they are to do that with one.
Yeah, and I couldn't catch the moment where she was chased because I was so taken aback, but I did get this footage actually. So
Wow.
it shows you
That's
how
so cool.
it's quite something. So yeah.
They're
Yeah, that's
definitely
amazing
special.
footage and so unique. I never would have imagined an eagle doing
Yeah.
so many of the things it's doing right there in that video.
And he's definitely got his eye on everything. So
So it is rather unique. So yeah, I have a few such clips that are yeah.
Oh, go ahead. By all means, show them.
They're quite special. I mean, I can show you one of the slow motion videos if you're interested.
Yeah.
I will
definitely.
show.
Yes, please.
Let me see if which one it is. Let me just see if it's this one here. Yes, this is it. Okay, let me get out of the way completely. 1 second there. Okay, so what is you? Let me just try and start again. So this is a juvenile, and this is in slow motion. It takes about 1 second in real time, and I didn't even know I had this footage because it's so unique. But this was taken with a high-speed camera, and it was complete accidental that I actually got it. But what it's quite simple with eagles. The one who comes from above rules the world, right? So
Right.
what
Oh, I
happened
like that.
here? I'll try. So all this happens so quickly. Usually, eagles are just they call this disputes, right? It's just a hierarchy game, and they really have to be aware. Their talons are quite fierce. I'm just going to try and see if I can get this footage in again. 1 second. From the beginning, if I can.
That's cool.
It is very cool.
See how to do that. But you can see they quickly recover. It all happens in about a second. I just
Really?
Yes, it's. I mean, this is taken 1,000 frames per second. You wouldn't even.
Oh my
I didn't
God.
even know I had this because it happened so quickly.
I'm
I'm going to
sure.
try
Wow.
and jump backwards and forwards. No, I
That's
don't.
incredible.
It is. I just have to wait a second till it spools back.
Well, this reminds me, the movement that we're seeing here.
Yeah.
This is a prominent dance that comes more from the Plains Indians, although I think a lot of folks have in different tribal cultures and different areas of the North American tribal communities. There's this dance called the Eagle Dance, and it literally reminds me of that sort of that gesture that they we tell stories in our dance, and this is one of the stories is enacting and being the eagle in a sense. So this is really incredible to see that slow down again.
Yeah, here you can see how an eagle takes off with a and
that's so cool.
and this is like a 1 in a million shot that you get.
How did you get this?
Well, this is
just
complete luck. Well, it's just luck.
I love your reactions so much, Michelle.
I'm so sorry.
That
I
just
mean, I'm just like
day.
That's
oh
awesome,
wow.
though.
I've got chills, you guys. I mean, this is just amazing.
That's awesome.
That video went completely viral with 17 million hits because it's very unique and it's very lucky too. I mean, you don't often get a chance like this.
It's just so gorgeous.
Everything has to be right, the focus and everything. It's just.
This is beneficial. I'm sure this work that you do is beneficial for so many scientists and other folks that
Yeah.
study these
Well,
things.
actually, a lot of cartoon people and animators have approached me
I imagine that.
Yeah, it's difficult to
because it's very difficult to
replicate.
even to draw cartoons of eagles. I wouldn't even know how to do that, but they as you can imagine, this footage is really interesting for them. Because
Well, like for someone who
Yeah.
does gestures, like right there where he does that, like you don't see that,
No.
you don't think of that. You just think, most people have like this idea, like your hands, like when you're, a kid pretending to fly, with your hands, that they just go up and down, but they really is a complex motion
and
built on their
this is
anatomy. Oh my
this
gosh,
is
that's
also
incredible.
typical. I think this does some maneuver. Ugh, I got so many of these.
Uh-huh.
Quite lucky. I'm not quite sure what happened here. I just have to see why I took this. I'm not sure.
Yes, animators do like to study the real thing, of course, to be
Oh yeah.
yeah, big. That's
Oh yeah,
animation is
here it
incredible.
comes in. It just does this beautiful maneuver, and this
Oh,
takes all split of a second. You can see how incredibly maneuverable they are in wind. It's just beautiful how they dance in air.
Wow.
now, did I just see that correctly? Did he like literally
Yes,
use his leg to
yeah,
steer himself?
yeah. And it goes
Wow, I
so
did not know
fast
that.
you cannot catch that. It's. Let me see what else I have. I've some. Oh, this is just so you can see how quickly they move. So that is a beautiful scene where there's a dock worker doing some dock repairs, and uh, and right next
Wow.
to the eagles, those are two juveniles sitting there, and I can't remember what happens in this clip. Let me just see. But it goes. It's so. I mean, it's super slow motion, right? I mean, you can't even see the dock worker. There's an eagle flying in the background, and you just have to be a little bit patient here because I think it takes off or so. But you can see how quick their motions are compared to ours. The dock
Mhm.
workers are, yeah, here, look at the takeoff and watch the man behind. Then you can appreciate he's not even moving, right? It's this is just a split of a second,
Wow.
and
Wow.
it just gives you some realistic view of how fast they are, right? It's
Wow. They're
I
so
think
familiar with him. I bet you they know his first name. I mean,
They probably do.
hey Fred, how you doing today? How's the kids? How's the
Hey
kids?
here,
Jim.
like just lots of wings that you usually see. You can't make out anything without a high-speed camera.
Oh no! You want to talk about the technical side of the
Yes,
photography? I
Yeah.
don't think we've touched on that at all.
yeah.
And I
If
know
you
a
would,
lot of artists are really like I know portrait
okay,
artists. We don't have
I'll
the
show
same
you how.
equipment at all.
Let me unpack my equipment. If this is not going to bore you, I will do
Oh
that.
no, it's not going to bore us. But I just want to let anybody who's mindful of the time. I know some people have to come and go as they
Okay.
will. We are going to be live for a while, mainly because I feel like some of us are just getting started on our art. We want to complete or do as much
Okay,
as we
there you
can. But
go.
it is 6:39
Wow.
Eastern
Look at
Standard
that.
Time.
This is an 800
Check us out.
millimeter. This is the
Looks
main.
like a caveman club there.
This is the Canada Flag.
Goodness.
I like that you have all
Wow.
the what do you call it?
The
The
camouflage.
camouflage.
camo. Yeah, the camo on it.
That's
One
cool.
second.
Is that just like a skin that you put on it
Yes,
or
one second. I just have to try and get this
ooh,
off because for some reason
that's a hoss of a
it's on
lens,
there.
man.
But that's about the real size with the camera. So it's
Oh
quite heavy.
my
I just
gosh.
can't get the top off for some reason at the moment. I don't know why it's
I
stuck.
bet you that lens alone you could buy a house with.
Yep, there you go.
That's what you call a lens. Yeah.
Wow. So this is
Okay,
definitely a passion.
let me
It's not
put
a
the
it's not a it's an expensive passion, but
it's very
obviously
expensive. I
passion.
saved for years on this, but if you want to do, you see, that's how it really looks. If you want to do wildlife photography and not disturb animals, which is very
Mm.
important for me, that's the type
Yes.
of equipment you will need. And yeah, so that's one lens, but that's not my high speed. For high speed, I use a different one. I'll just show it to you. So that's what I used in Dutch Harbor to do all these things. Let's see if I can get this one out. And this is a special developed camera for that purpose. And it's actually quite small. That's it. So this is the high-speed camera that takes 1,000, 2,000 and whatever frames per second. The difficulty you have with this camera is you have to do everything manual. Okay,
Yeah.
there's no automatic here. That's why this eagle sequence that I was able to take is so unique,
It's
because
unique. Yeah.
your focus, everything has to be right, you know. So I just see it back there, and when the sun is strong, you don't see anything. So you just hold it there and hope for the best. And
I imagine. So
that's
yeah, so half the time you don't even know if you've got what you
no,
got,
no,
basically, until
I have
after
no
you
idea.
get
And then
home.
when you go back in the evening to your you know, where your lodges or so, you just sit there and you pray. I hope I got something, you know. So,
Well, now, how often, when you go to an area like this, how often do you go out? Like every day? Obviously you said that you go
yes,
sometimes
yes,
super
every day
early in the
from morning
morning.
till evening. And
Wow.
the videos I got there, the best ones, I think you can get one of these in 3 years. It's just, I mean, it's such a rare. You have to be lucky too. You have to be incredibly patient. You have to go with prevailing winds. Often you stand in the snow. It's just
Hmm.
icy winds. The conditions are often terrible.
Oh,
And
I
the worse
imagine.
the conditions are, the better the eagles perform. You know, it's just incredible. And the worse it is for you, right? So
Now, one thing we haven't touched on, I mean, like I said, this is like an incredible symbiotic environment. Like, this is very rare to have this many eagles together. Am I right
yes,
about that? Okay.
yes,
Yeah.
and close up like that is very difficult to get. I think I've only measured in Aleutian Islands, nothing like that here, because it's just so unique. They've been published in National Geographic. I'll show you how eagles typically behave in the background there. So this is eagles raiding a ship in Dutch Harbor. So what happened there is that they forgot to secure the fish, and I can tell
Mm.
you,
Oh,
the
Oh,
so this is a feast for eagles, and they love it, right? So they take
They're
over
like,
the ship,
thanks.
and by the and by the time they come back from dinner, there's nothing
This is
left.
like
You know?
it's just Walmart or something, like,
And
hey.
I've seen it myself. You put 200 pounds of fish out, it's gone in 5 minutes. I'm not joking.
Oh, I imagine.
Wow.
It's
Like you're talking
incredible,
about the
you know.
speed it would took for them to just swallow
So
one
that's why they
whole.
love going there. So
Just smorgasbord.
Christian, I have to say
Yeah.
that this footage is not really justifying the bounty, the lack of bounty on the eagle. It's becoming more understandable why people saw them as such a well, the fisher people saw these as such a
that's
problem.
correct. Very
Yes.
good point. Very good point. That's exactly a great point. That's how
Right,
people
right. Like people aren't
misinterpreted them. Yes,
yeah, people
absolutely.
aren't necessarily evil in their intent to like, oh, it's wildlife, let's kill it. It's like, that didn't come out of nowhere. So, but at the same time, it's like any relationship, like again,
Yeah, we've gathered all this fish, this massive fish in one place, which is
That's
not a
exactly
natural
right.
thing for it to be all just
there
sitting
you
out on the
go.
boat like this.
Yeah, the
Yeah, and the
things that we
eagles will
do.
come, you know.
And
So,
and you're
yeah.
absolutely right, Georgia. Of course, when it's such a great point, because I think fishing is still tough, but I think it used to be much tougher because they wouldn't have they would do everything by hands, right? They would have no motors or anything, and then they really saw it as a threat, right? So
Mhm.
so
Well, just some of the research that you folks do, and some of the work like this that you're showing. Not just that this is a graceful and beautiful animal, but it's educating us into realizing, hey, you know what? When fisheries and things like this started, it wasn't with the idea of, oh, let's make sure. We check this thing out with the rest of nature and how we fit in that picture. It wasn't even a conversation, and now it is. So I think that's really
Oh wow,
interesting.
look at those talons.
Oh my gosh, that is
oh, that's a pretty
so
picture.
cool.
And eagles they stay in the same spot all year,
Oh,
right? They don't migrate?
no, they migrate a
They
lot.
do.
In fact, we
Okay.
have.
Oh,
That's
okay.
very important to know.
That's a good
They,
question.
they, in fact, in British Columbia, as David Hancock was pointing out yesterday, we have the largest migration of eagles in January, February. It's incredible what comes through here. You're talking about 100,000 eagles or so.
Wow.
It's absolutely amazing. So for me, it was always the question: how do they know where to fly, and how do they know to come on this route, and so on? And actually,
Mm-hmm.
what David Hancock is doing is very interesting. He's putting trackers on the eagles to understand their migratory paths much better, right? It's
Right.
they've done it a lot with penguins and so on, but and I'm sure Georgia knows quite a lot about the tracking of wildlife. But with eagles, it's fairly new, right, to do that.
Well, if Canada's missing any of their geese, I know where a few are.
Okay, okay.